Imagine, for a moment, an empire on the move. For centuries, the kings of Ethiopia were nomadic monarchs. Their palaces were made of silk and canvas, thousands of tents that shifted with the seasons, leaving nothing behind but cold fire pits and trampled grass. But in the year 1636, Emperor Fasil decided that the wind would no longer carry his kingdom. Legend says he followed a buffalo to a ridge, 7,000 feet high in the highlands of Gondor. There, he struck his staff into the earth and declared that here, the empire would finally take root. He didn't just build a house, he built a statement. He called for basalt and lime, timber and gold. He began the construction of fasil, a royal enclosure that would eventually house 6 kings and their stories. The architecture of a crossroads. As the walls rose, something miraculous happened. Gondor sat at the crossroads of the world. Fasil brought together architects who spoke different languages but shared one vision. If you walk through the gate today, you see a Gondran style that shouldn't exist, yet perfectly belongs. You see the rounded towers of Portuguese forts, the delicate arches of Moorish palaces from North Africa, and the intricate woodwork of Indian craftsmanship. But look closer at the heart of the stone. You see the Aksumite influence, ancient Ethiopian soul. For 200 years, this was the Camelot of Africa. Imagine the smell of roasting coffee and incense wafting from the kitchens, the sound of chanting priests in the nearby churches, and the sight of lions pacing the courtyards as symbols of the Solomonic dynasty. It was a golden age of art, literature, and power. The long silence and the decay, but no empire stays golden forever. By the late 1800s, the capital shifted to Addis Ababa. The great halls of Gondor fell silent. The gardens where queens once walked were reclaimed by the bush. Then came the 20th century, and with it, the violence of modern war. During the Italian occupation in the 1930s, the castle became a military headquarters. In 1941, British planes, aiming for the occupiers, dropped bombs that shattered the roofs of the ancient palaces. But the greatest threat wasn't bombs, it was neglect. The heavy Ethiopian rains began to dissolve the lime mortar. Giant ficus trees, the strangler, figsant, their roots, like slow-mo shoe, lightning, bolts into the cracks of the stone. The roots were beautiful, but deadly. They were literally prying the history of Ethiopia apart, stone by stone. By the 1970s, Fasil's dream was on the verge of becoming a pile of rubble. The resurrection, the conservation process. In 1979, UNESCO recognized the site, and a battle began to save it. But conservation is a tricky business. In the early days, workers tried to fix the walls using modern Portland cement. It was a disaster. Cement is rigid and waterproof. It trapped the moisture inside the ancient basalt, causing the stones to sweat and shatter from the inside out.
This work is bolstered by international hands. The World Monuments Fund WMF has stepped in to provide significant funding and technical expertise, specifically for the restoration of the banqueting hall and Mentawab's palace. Furthermore, a partnership with Italian and French institutes provides international training for Ethiopian conservators, bridging the gap between local artisanal skills and global scientific standards. The Fasil is not a dead museum, it is a living heritage site. It must survive the impact of being a major tourist draw and the spiritual home of the Timkat Epiphany Festival. This creates a unique challenge for the conservation system, managing human impact. To protect the structures, the system now limits the number of visitors allowed on fragile upper balconies. More importantly, the enclosure serves as a living lab. Here, local masons are trained in the specific Gondorine style of stonework. This ensures that the specialized skills required to repair these castles are passed down to new generations, preventing the knowledge from dying out. The final philosophy. The overarching philosophy of the Fasil conservation system has undergone a profound shift. The goal is no longer to make it look new. Instead, the mission is to keep it authentic. It is a slow, painstaking process of swapping out bad 20th century repairs and replacing them with accurate 17th century chemistry. In doing so, Ethiopia ensures that the Camelot of Africa stands not just as a ruin of the past, but as a living testament for the future.